Hey guys, Sunset will be added to the competitive map pool in just a few days, so I've prepared 50 cool tips for you on this map. You'll definitely find something useful for yourself, so let's get started. Well, let's start with quite a simple Jetta Draft here. Since the updraft is now only one, it's quite challenging to use it anywhere, but here with the ult it works pretty well. Plus you won't be very visible there because of the map's elements. The next updraft can be used in this spot to eliminate opponents who are planting the spike, because spikes are often placed in this area, so it's also a pretty good spot for this ability. At the beginning of the video I showed you a cool lineup for Fade. Here is a similar one for the Sova. It's thrown at the start of the round from the barriers, and you need to aim at this part of the hood element and align on the wall. The advantage of this recon dart compared to the regular one to the wall is that it checks the central mid cover from all sides and there is no way to hide there. Plus it's quite easy to throw. Next we have this cool Sage wall boost like a green wall. The only problem is that it's very visible during the buy phase as the wall is being built, so it shouldn't be too long. Since mid is always covered with a smoke, the wall is genuinely useful. Playing as Sova, you can give a fairly simple recon dart like this one, which will help you with pushing a side. It reveals the back side of the side and part of the crates inside the side, making it harder for opponents to hide. The next arrow lands on the B side and it's really cool. It's not difficult to throw, you just need to aim slightly lower from the corner, practice it yourself and it will work every time. Its coolness lies in the fact that you can throw it safely and it checks the entire back side, including the garden on the city side, where defenders with operators often stand. Plus throwing such an arrow allows you to lurk through the middle if you want. Next up is really cool lineup from the center of the map. Again, you can throw your abilities for your teammates and play as a lurker. The lineup is actually not complicated. Here I aim at this part of the hood. If you also have your ultimate, you can definitely use it because there will be enough time to reach the spike. But even without the ultimate you'll have enough time. The key is to throw it in advance and at the right moment. Next is a lineup from a closer distance. Here I recommend you to line up like this. You need to move your crosshair down from these two leaves and stop at this place. This molly lands in a more default spike planting spot, at least based on the initial games. I can say that's where the spike is often planted, so it's an excellent and safe option. Next is a molly for the B side. Here we simply wedge ourselves in the corner and aim at the hood elements. This part should hit this line and this part should touch this upper strip. It also results in a very safe lineup and it rolls for a long time, so there is enough time to reach it. You just need to throw it in advance. Such a spike is also convenient to cover from the center, so the placement is favorable. This lineup is from the same spot but for a different spike, and it's even easier to throw. You need to align this square with this orange part and move it a couple of pixels to the side. The spike is also placed quite often under this crate, so I recommend remembering this motto as well, it won't hurt you. For playing as Cypher, I found the most successful one-way cage on the B side. You need to aim like this, you can remember it by the hood elements or the crosshair. In general it's easy to hit. When opponents are pushing you they won't see you, while you see their legs and easily get kills. Playing as Deadlock, you can use such an ultimate, the application of which I saw immediately in the first game from Flow. Essentially you just need to occupy a city and the ultimate is easy to throw and covers a large distance, so in a 1 vs 1 situation it will definitely secure a victory for you. Another good ultimate is available for the A side. Once again it will work flawlessly in a 1 vs 1 clutch because they simply won't be able to kill you since you're far away, so you can confidently use it. If you've planted the spike and are playing as Killjoy, there are several interesting options for different spike locations. You can remember and use them, especially the one convenient for the garden. It will be quite easy to defend the spike after using grenades. For Viper there is a good and very simple molly lineup. You need to align the wall with the corner of the letter on the graffiti, then just aim at the top of the roof and use the molly. It lands in the default spot again and it's convenient to guard the spike from this position. There is also a molly for the garden as Viper and it's even easier to throw than the Killjoy's one. Just stand by the wall and throw it to this spot, so nothing complicated here. It's especially cool if you use this molly together with Viper's ultimate. You need to ult in this way, then the passage to you will be closed and the garden will also be in the zone, so the mollies will be deadly. If you want to split B, there is a very cool knife for KO. It's also thrown as simply as possible. The main thing is to check the center first to avoid getting killed. You need to aim at the flash so its upper part touches the building edge. It lands in the back side and checks all the most dangerous areas. And of course you need a knife for the A side. Here aim at this wire a little bit above the third piece to avoid hitting it. The knife lands on the roof and the opponents won't be able to destroy it, and someone often plays in this area, so the knife will be very useful. Next is such quick play for KO, very useful for taking control of A main if you want to play aggressively. No special lineups are needed here. You just throw it with a jump, it blinds everyone perfectly and there is no way to turn away from it. By the way, the same lineup that works for Viper is also works for KO, you just need to aim slightly lower. This means it's also suitable for Killjoy, KO and Gecko mollies. Consequently, Killjoy's mollies from this spot will also work for KO's molly. I won't show it separately for each, they all land in without any problems here. Playing as Jett, you can get on green box during the buy phase and then as soon as barriers drop, jump on the next one. I wouldn't say it's some special trick, it's just a convenient position that opponents are usually not prepared for, and they often throw smokes there, so you will be on top of that. But for the next trick you'll need several components. First you dash on the box and then your Sage teammate will need to place a wall, and then one updraft will be enough for you to kill someone in the middle. The field of view opens up very wide and the opponents definitely won't be waiting for you there. For the next trick you'll need to be boosted onto the box, or to be honest you'll need Raze to use her satchel, not to use like these bugs. Here is also a really good wall, you need to use one of your updrafts. I mean you only have one, but anyways it will give you opportunity to get easy kills. And here is another amazing spot for the wall. Here you'll have to use a dash, but you'll be very high above of the smokes and you can even see the spike if you updraft, so you can easily kill a couple of opponents. The next wall is located in this spot and again no one will be waiting for you here and it's quite easy to set up. The only question is whether you can guess that the opponents will go A, otherwise the wall will be wasted. By the way, you can do the same with the Raze's ultimate here, and in the previous spot you can also use Raze ultimate without any problems. And now get ready to see probably the best wall on this map. Here you'll also need to spend a dash, and in general it's not very easy for Jett to get there, but if you manage to do this you'll have such a cool view. Again, you can get here with Raze or Omen, but Jett also has updraft, and then you can see the whole half of the map. Such a simple wall will allow you to check mid, but you need to be careful not to get killed from the city, and in general it's a good wall suitable for all agents. Well, since there are so many Sage walls, here a couple of simple orbs for you that will help you avoid enemy pushes and assist during fights, because opponents often like to fight for this territory on the left and right side, but in this way you'll have a decent advantage. When taking control of the B side you can use such an orb and you can throw it slightly to the right or left depending on whether the opponent has Omen and if he teleports behind the box. Also on the B side you can use such a wall to check if anyone will push B. Just make sure to close the door in the mid and use a safe jump. In such a case you can play solo under B, especially if you want to play it retake, which will be really cool if your Killjoy has ultimate. And here is the next trick useful for those with many friends, because developers left an entire basketball court where you can run around and throw various abilities through their rings, as these are not just textures, so you can organize an intense championship. By the way, I forgot to show you this quite simple but very effective flash for taking control of B with KO. Again, if the opponents like to pick there, it will definitely stop them and it will be easier for your teammates to push B side. The next one is not really a trick, more like a tip on spike placements, because Breach's Aftershock is really good on this map. For this agent the map is almost ideal, you just need to place the spikes near the walls, and on B you can place them particularly anywhere, so I really recommend you to play Breach on this map. Playing as Sova, there are several cool drones. For example, with this one you can check the center of the map while staying safe, and your drone will be less noticeable than if you flew it through the smoke in the center. The next drone is located at the A side and it's suitable for when you're playing as an attacker and have already taken the side. Checking mid for example and gathering information nearby is quite convenient with it. And this drone is for defense and it's needed to gather early information about the A side. The essence of all these drones is that thanks to the map elements you can fly very high, but this third in my opinion is the least useful. Instead of this early drone, it's better to throw a shock dart at the start of the round. It's thrown with a jump and very easy, and if the opponent is playing under A, you'll definitely deal a lot of damage. Of course, there's a lineup for Sova from our beloved position. You need to ally it with the ladder the same way, but you have to aim the crosshair even lower than with the other lineups. The shock dart lands perfectly in the center, which is crucial here. You can also throw a shock dart from a different position. For example, example, if you want to play deeper to later use your ultimate, here you need to aim along the power scale. As soon as the upper central lines rise above the roof, it means you have enough hate. Plus you should set it to 1 bounce, then it will land as needed. If you are playing as Sova on A and your teammates on B need help, you can use this recon dart. Aim at the middle of the box and then at the middle of the right side of this line. The dart flies for quite a while, but it provides excellent vision not only at the back side, but also due to its position, it reveals part of the entrance on the side, making this dart very strong. Next we have a dart going from B to A side. Align yourself with this map element and the corner of the black box. In terms of hate, you need to adjust it so that the middle of the charge indicator is in the middle of the corner. It's actually quite simple, it just takes a couple of tries to remember. In my opinion, it's quite convenient for retakes and providing assistance to the defense. Also, I forgot to show you a lineup for Viper. Here you need to stand in the corner and simply aim upwards. For the hit, it should be set to this hood element touches the edge of the roof. The lineup flies for quite a while, so you can make it to the side from various angles, whichever suits your best. From this position you can also throw it with Killjoy, KO, and you need to aim the same way. As for the hate, I've come up with this guideline. This section of the roof should be visible just a little as I have it right now. For some agents you need to spin the knife, which will slow you down for about 1 or 2 seconds, but it's easy to remember at least. If you're playing SK on A side and you need to throw your knife to point B to gather early information, it's easy to do this from this spot. Either crush into the barriers here or align yourself with this pattern. You should aim using the hood element and match this white point with the base of the light bulb. It's very easy and the lineup results in a very effective play. If no one is there, it's information for you and your teammates, but if someone's there, it will make it harder for the opponents to fight without abilities. There is a similar lineup from B side to the A side. Just stand on the smaller crate and align your crosshair with 2 lines. It's the same deal, early map information, so I recommend remembering and using this as well. If you're playing as Yoro, there are 2 powerful teleports from City. The first one is thrown from the A, and you should throw it as soon as the buy phase ends. Aim as shown in the video. My crosshair length is 4 here. With this teleport you can end up behind opponents, and key is to make sure your teleport and its sounds don't attract too much attention, because otherwise your opponents will wait for you. On B side it's much easier, align yourself with the buy phase and aim at this curve. This portal goes farther and is more interesting, you can literally end up behind opponents. It should work a couple of times per game. Overall, I think Sunset is really good for Yoro with its geometry. Speaking of Yoro, there is a fairly simple and in my opinion useful way to use his flash here, because no one will be waiting for it from this window and turning away will be quite difficult. On Fade there is a good and simple lineup against enemy exits. It's a bit risky of course, but at the start of the round you can stand here and when you hear the enemy ability being used, you can throw this reveal. The advantage is that it constantly lands at the corner of the building and will spot enemy as soon as they start to come out, making them spin around and break it. So this is all the tips that I found. Write in the comments if you find something useful for you, and thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.